It's very hard to comment on a level of confusion and incoherence where you frankly don't know what they're trying to accomplish.
We have 30 seconds left. Would you do any military force?
No, I don't think we need to do any military force. I think that if people in the military in Libya knew that they had friends in America, I think the Libyan military would rapidly decide to replace Qadaffi. All you have to do is convince them the dictator's the past, not the future. Why don't you join the future? And you'd be surprised how rapidly they would shift sides.
Let me just be very unambiguous about this. Colonel Qadaffi needs to step down from power and leave.
What would you do about Libya?
Exercise a no-fly zone this evening. Communicate to the Libyan military that Qadaffi was gone and that the sooner they switch sides, the more likely they were to survive. This is a moment to get rid of him. Do it. Get it over with. If you look at Libya, on March 3rd, he said Qadaffi had to go. There's no evidence Qaddafi's going to go. There's no evidence that the no-fly zone by itself will be effective. Americans need to realize that once the American president has publicly said a dictator has to go, if that dictator survives, it's a considerable defeat for the United States. Look, let me just say, first of all, that you have, I think, two very different moments. Prior to March 3rd, the United States should have taken a quiet, careful, indirect route that would have gotten rid of Qadaffi, but without using American force and without using overt American action. And there are ways you can do that. After March 3rd, when President Obama himself said, and this is his own words, Qadaffi must go. Well, if the President of the United States says that, and he said it, by the way, long before the international community said anything, and he said it without the support of the international community, and they have now changed his mission from getting rid of Qadaffi to some kind of humanitarian intervention, which makes no sense. This is as badly executed, I think, as any policy we've seen since World War II, and it will become a case study for how not to engage in this kind of activity. The president said on March 3rd, Qadaffi has to go. Well, they're now saying this is a humanitarian intervention, which is nonsense. If this is not designed to get rid of Qadaffi, then this makes no sense at all. Well, given this president who has said publicly Qadaffi should go, it seems to me it's his decision that he's the one who said that. I think that now, let me draw a distinction. I would not have intervened. I think there were a lot of other ways to affect Qadaffi. I think there are a lot of allies in the region that we could have worked with. I would not have used American and European forces. Having decided to go there, if Qadaffi does not leave power, it will be a defeat for the United States. It will lengthen our engagement. It will increase our cost. And notice, by the way, at least according to this morning's papers, the White House refuses to even tell Congress whether they're going to ask for supplemental to pay for the war.
Right.
So I'm just suggesting to you, they currently are in an argument with our allies over who runs the war. They're currently not willing to tell the Congress how much it's going to cost and who's going to pay for it.
Right.
They can't agree internally on what their goals are. This is about as badly run as any foreign operation we've seen, I think, in our lifetime. Well, first of all, on the Today Show, the reference was back to my original interview with you. And if we had a choice, if President Obama had not come out and said Qadaffi has to go, I would have preferred the Reagan-Eisenhower model of using the CIA, using our allies, having Moroccan, Egyptian, Jordanian, Iraqi forces helping the people who are going to overthrow Qadaffi. So that was a reference to before March 3rd. As you pointed out, the second reference was with you, I believe, once again, after the president on March 3rd said he wanted to get rid of Qadaffi. And I said, as a first step to getting rid of Qadaffi, that I would support a no-fly zone. But that's not where we are. We're in chaos right now. I was responding in each case to changes in Obama's position. And obviously, my analysis is going to change as the facts on the ground change. Today, we're in a situation where the President of the United States has pitted the prestige of the United States to getting rid of Qadaffi. And any strategy we have should be designed to get rid of Qadaffi. Well, first of all, before March 3rd, I would have said, let's use indirect forces. Let's not use Americans at all. Let's find ways to get Egyptians, Moroccans, Iraqis, Jordanians, help the rebels win, but not use American forces. After March 3rd, when the president said Qadaffi must go, I would say to you, we have to use American and allied air power, and we have to combine it with advisors and with air control teams from Arab-speaking countries. But our goal has to be to defeat Qadaffi. What I think is nonsense is the president's constant indecision. Look, if you ask me, should we jump in the lake, I'd say no. If you say, gosh, we're already in the lake, should we start swimming, I'd say yes. The fact is, before March 3rd, I thought we should not use American power. After March 3rd, when the president said Qadaffi must go, I said, you have to use American power. Then they said, we're not going to use it to defeat Qadaffi. And I said, this is nonsense. The only purpose of using American power is to defeat Qadaffi, drive him out of office, and have a new government. And you still, to this day, have an administration which is utterly confused about what it's doing. I haven't heard the president come out again and say Qadaffi must go. So what are we doing there? If all we're trying to do is a humanitarian zone, that could go on for 20 years.
All right, Mr. Speaker,
We've got to decide
let me just
to
ask
drive
you.
Qadaffi out of office.
Colonel Qadaffi needs to step down from power and leave. Of course, there is no question that Libya and the world would be better off with Qadaffi out of power. I, along with many other world leaders, have embraced that goal and will actively pursue it through non-military means. But broadening our military mission to include regime change would be a mistake.
I was responding in each case to changes in Obama's position. And obviously, my analysis is going to change as the facts on the ground change. Today, we're in a situation where the President of the United States has pitted the prestige of the United States to getting rid of Qadaffi. And any strategy we have should be designed to get rid of Qadaffi.